cashier at a couple stores like Dollar General, Meijer.
I was gonna ask you to try to give me a sentence without saying like, but I don't think you can do it.
Broken call the register of deeds and she was not over there, so.
Do we know if she's come in the building?
It looks like Miss Ackerman may be trying to communicate or look for her as well.
Okay. All right. Let's move ahead to our next case.
All right, pause right here, because this is where a routine docket turns into something much heavier. We're dealing with a 22-year-old defendant, a domestic violence plea, and a court already signaling one key word: deferral. Translation for the audience? This isn't about punishment first. It's about whether the system believes this situation can be stopped before it escalates. But here's the real question. Is this truly a one-time alcohol fuel mistake, or the early warning sign of something worse?
Which is Dakota Suarez, file number 252297. Mr. Suarez is here with his lawyer, Mr. Ross Truckee. Defendant entered a plea to domestic violence. He was arrested on this charge on November the 9th. Posted bond on November the 12th. So I think there's 3 days of jail credit. The defendant is only 22. He is eligible for the deferral. This was in his relationship with Hannah Lamb. And there was a witness there when this occurred, Mr. Orion Fogg, and Miss Lamb has some emotional issues of her own. Mr. Suarez trashed the apartment, lost his temper, and there was some impermissive touching, and he pled to a charge of domestic assault. Mr. Truckee, what would you like me to know?
Thank you. I think this is the kind of person that the deferral program is meant to help, to intervene in before things get worse. This was a situation where there was drinking going on. All the parties were some level of intoxicated. Things got clearly out of hand. Miss Lamb and Mr. Suarez had an altercation. He came in here, he pled to it. He recognizes that it's not how he wants to live and how relationships should look in his life. So we're asking for the court to sentence to the deferral program, allow him to gain some skills and some perspective on how healthy relationships work and move forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Campfield, what's your thought?
Thank you, Your Honor. Well, I can say that Hannah is present and would like to address the court. I do think this situation is appropriate for the 769.4A diversion probation. At the scene during his interview, Mr. Suarez appeared to be very upset, very remorseful for what had occurred, and I think acknowledged that he lost his temper. I know that she would like to have contact, and I'd like to have her come up and speak to the court regarding that.
I set this on purpose to do it before Christmas. In fact, both of these I did. And which case are you here on, ma'am?
I'm his mother.
Oh, all right. Any luck? All right. Well, okay, very good. All right. Miss Lamb, what would you like me to know?
So that night we had gotten drunk. We were just hanging out with a friend, and me and him had gotten into an argument over his friend talking to one of my friends that wanted no contact with.
Well, here's the way I saw it, that you confronted him because he had some other woman in the apartment.
No.
And then he went ballistic after that.
No.
So that's what the police report says.
No.
So what actually happened?
So what actually had happened was me and Dakota were at home and we were drinking. We had his friend.
What were you drinking?
Huh?
What were you drinking?
Steel Reserves.
Okay.
And we were drinking those I think he may have had like 3 or 4. I may have had, I don't even know. But we were drinking. He had his friend over. One argument started because his friend wanted to take him to his house, and I was just hoping he would have just stayed at home. And then we were just sitting in the living room, and then his friend Orion had said that he wanted to talk to my friend who lives with me. Her name's Alyssa Klusterman. She lives with me, and he wanted to talk to her, but she wants no contact with him. And so I was telling Dakota that, he shouldn't, his friend shouldn't.
This is the emotional core of the entire hearing. Notice what's happening here. The victim isn't exaggerating. She's carefully reconstructing events, correcting the police report, and acknowledging alcohol without excusing behavior. Legally, that matters. Courts look closely at consistency, detail, and ownership of the facts. And right now, her testimony is doing quiet but serious work. And for viewers at home, ask yourself, how many domestic cases unravel right here between memory, intoxication, and fear?
Have contact with her because it's not something she wants. And something had set him off, and he started going ballistic. And we started yelling back and forth. And then I had gotten up to go to the kitchen to get away from him. And that's when he had jumped in front of me and grabbed a hold of both of my arms. And that's when I told him to let go of me. And the argument had continued to where I had gone into a different bedroom. And back in the living room, he was like, going ballistic. He was flailing his arms and
What do you think he was so mad about?
I don't know.
Well, I'll ask him here in a minute. Miss Klusterman wasn't there, was she?
She was there.
Oh, where was she?
She was in no, she wasn't.
She's not mentioned in any of the reports.
She was coming and staying at my house once in a while, but she was out walking around at this time.
Okay, so she wasn't there when this whole thing went
No, she wasn't
down.
there when this whole ordeal
Okay.
happened. And he was flailing his arms, and his watch had actually come up. He was flailing his arms around. His watch had actually come up and hit me in the underside of the arm. And I had said that he had hit me. And so I had walked into a different bedroom, and I was saying, like, dude, you hit me. You hit me. Why would you hit me like that?
Who called the police?
I did.
Okay.
And we were in that other bedroom, and then that's when he had said, like, oh, if you want me to hit you, I can. He raised his fist and pretended like he was gonna
Yeah,
hit me.
something like, you want to see how hard I can really hit you.
Yeah. And then that's when I had walked out of the bedroom, and then that's when he started destroying my house and everything. And then that's when he was like, oh, you know what, just do it, just call the cops. So I had called the cops.
Now, did he live there or just come sometimes?
He lived there.
Okay, so you were both living at Spring Street?
Yes.
Okay.
And afterwards, he was trying to get Orion to get him to leave before the cops showed up. And then Orion wouldn't take him anywhere. So he just kind of laid on the couch and just kind of accepted it. And then the cops came in and
Yeah,
talked to us.
he's just laying there. So do you want me to lift the no contact provision?
Yeah, I would. It was an accident. We were all drunk, and he was, it was just a bad night. I don't believe he has any intentions of hurting me.
Are you employed?
I will be soon at American Axle.
And
I'm just waiting for-
Was Dakota employed?
No,
All right, we'll talk to him about that. All right, I'm glad you're here. Thank you. Mr. Suarez, I can only do that deferral if the prosecutor agrees or accepts it. And in this case, they do. Nobody drinks Steel Reserve because they like the taste. They drink it to get drunk because it's relatively inexpensive and it has a high alcohol content. So you guys were there, having drinks and get drunk, and then many of my stories start out that way. If I took alcohol out of the equation, I'd probably have about 1/3 of the cases I currently have. You've not been in any trouble. You're 22. You're eligible for a deferral. When's the last time you worked someplace?
Like about a year.
Why not?
Just, just,
All right, well, maybe it's time to go to work.
yeah.
I asked her, she didn't know. Why were you so mad?
Cause she was taking her, like, talking, like, she was like, just like coming at me instead of talking to him, like Orion, and like, I don't know, it was just, I was like, I was like, I don't know, it was ridiculous. Like, I was like trying to defend him a little bit, because they're like, it was, I don't know. Like,
Well,
I
all
was
right.
upset because she should have, like I was trying to basically tell him, like, I don't know, talk to him about it, the situation, instead of coming at me. Like,
Well, I'm not sure I have any clearer understanding now than I did then. You did 3 days in jail. I'm gonna put you in the anger management plan. You could use some anger management. If you complete this probation, you're not gonna do any more jail. And you're gonna have the charge taken off your record. I'm gonna order 13 days jail, credit 3. Of the 13 days, 10 are deferred. I got 10 days hung over your head. The fine is 0. There's enough other stuff you have to pay for. There's a $75 crime victims' rights fee, a $50 state minimum fee, $150 attorney fee, $480 probation oversight fee, which can be cut in half if you do it in.
This is a Courtroom's version of a final warning shot. A deferral means a charge disappears, but only if every rule is followed. One slip, those 10 deferred jail days come roaring back. The judge isn't minimizing what happened. He's betting on change. No alcohol, no drugs, a job, anger management. And here's the takeaway. The justice system didn't erase accountability. It delayed judgment. Now it's on a defendant to prove this was truly a turning point, not just a lucky break before Christmas.
6 months, you pay for the class. So one of the things you have to do is get a job. I'm not sure how a 22-year-old lives for a year as girlfriends without working somewhere, but it's time for you to get a job because you're gonna have to pay for this stuff. 125 in costs, 150 attorney fee, 480. It's 755. And you to pay for the anger management class. No assaultive or threatening behavior. Alcohol and drug testing as directed, because while you're on probation, you can't use any drugs, including marijuana, and drink any alcohol. You're old enough to use marijuana, you're old enough to drink, but we call this a timeout. If you can complete the anger management class within 6 months, I can discharge you from probation at the end of 6 months. I'm going to lift the no contact provision. But there is a clause of no assaultive or threatening behavior. So even if you don't hit her, what you did trash in the apartment would constitute assaultive or threatening behavior. So as your lawyer said, we're going to give you some tools to kind of deal with these anger issues. But you guys are entitled to go out to lunch together. You're entitled to live in the same house. I'm not prohibiting it. What kind of work have you done?
I worked, like Meyer, like, other, like, I've been cashier at a couple stores, like Dollar General, Meyer.
I was going to ask you to try to give me a sentence without saying like, but I don't think you can do it. But I think that you're going to be all right. I think you're going to do what I'm asking you to do. I think you're going to complete this probation. I'm gonna take this charge off your record. All right, let's take this form downstairs to the probation department. I think I have a little bond money in here. You posted $200 in bond. So you'll $555, and if we subtract 240 from that, would be about 315 that you'd owe in 6 months. And the class, I think it's like $600, is my recollection, but the probation department will help you with that. All right, you're good to go. Take that down to probation. You guys can go back home together. You can go out to lunch together. I want you to treat her with respect. Christmas is coming. We don't need any of this. No drugs, no alcohol. So you can help him. You can't be sitting there drinking beer and he can't drink.
Mhm.
So maybe you can